All right, parent to parent, do your kids get stressed out right before they take a test at school? Parenting expert Jackie Insinger is here this morning with how you can help to tame that anxiety. And thank you for being here, Jackie. We appreciate it. So why is it that kids get stressed out, and how do you know if it's crossed a line into something that's too much?
Well, Kim, it's interesting because a little bit of nervousness or a touch of stress can actually work in your favor, because it puts you into that focus zone and it can increase attention and performance. But it's that fine line when you cross it into the true anxiety where you get that, that pit in your stomach and your heart racing and sweaty palms where you know it's not a good thing anymore. And it can not only impact your child's grades, but it can impact their confidence, which is what we completely want to avoid.
Okay, so I know you have some pretty basic tips that could really help out.
Yes, the first one is really silly sounding, but it's just to smile. And the physical act of putting a smile on your face, real or fake, can actually release the feel-good chemicals in your brain, which counteract the stress hormones. So when you just put a smile on, it can really help. So what I tell parents to do is send your child like a funny video or put a joke in their backpack and ask them to read it right before they take a test, and that'll kind of up the humor and put on the smile and decrease the stress.
And I know that sometimes, we get sort of a fight or flight kind of thing working. How do we deal with that?
Well, it's funny because I feel like I've talked about this with you on the show so many times. It's like water is kind of a great antidote to stress. And in this case, same thing. So what happens is as your stress hormones go up, it actually blocks your working memory, which is where you store all the information you need for the test. So you want to lower that so you can access the information. And water has been shown to reduce the stress hormone so you can then get that information that you studied. So you don't need to chug it. Just sipping water throughout the day can really help access that information.
Well, great. I also know that a lot of kids, they just have these thoughts that go through their mind over and over and over again. And you have a really interesting tip on how to deal with that.
Yeah, so there are some studies that came out that showed that they had students write and journal out all their anxieties on paper for 10 minutes before the test. And what they found was that those kids had higher test scores than the ones who didn't do that. So there are two things that are great to that. One is releasing that anxiety actually can increase your test scores. But another thing is remembering it all goes back to lowering your stress hormones so you can access that working memory and then have the information that you worked so hard to learn.
That's good advice for all of us, I think.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Thanks so much, Jackie. Good advice as always. And for more advice, you can pick up a copy of the education issue of Colorado Parent Magazine. You can find that now. Thanks so much, Jackie.
Thanks, Kim.
Back to you, Tom.